Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Say What's Real TV. This review is for Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 7, Episode 10, The Good Fight. So we open up the episode with Sabrina calling Andy to check up on her because she saw Jordan all over the news, and Andy reassured her that he didn't do any of those things and they are fine. Sabrina says, well, at least Jordan is not like Gary because Gary is starting to give her Dahmer vibes. And I'm like, well, Sabrina, when the last time you been around Gary? But nevertheless, to your point, Sabrina, he is a little off. So Andy says, I hope he's not that crazy because we do know how Dahmer was over there getting down. So they get off that subject and Sabrina tells her she started her IVF process and how she felt alone doing it, but realized she had to suck it up because it was a choice that she made. She then asks Andy to wish her luck because she had her interview for branch manager. So, of course, Andy wished her luck and also needed luck thrown her way because she was meeting with a new client. So they both agreed that they got this, and Andy suggested that they all get together later that night for a girls' night. And, of course, Sabrina was down and said that they can come over to her place. So Andy, she gets off the phone with Sabrina because she has some Jordan business to tend to. So you see him crawling in the bed like a little snake and they're just smacking and smooching. And they're getting ready to do what it do until they hear the broadcast on TV saying that they were outside of her place talking about the whole case and how the girl recanted her story. So Jordan, he's extremely relieved that it's over, but cannot understand how someone can just go around and lie and everybody just believes it and runs with it. But what I find most interesting about that whole thing is Andy sat right up there and acted so relieved when she heard the broadcast as if she didn't already know the truth. Why didn't you tell Jordan that you already knew that Gary paid the girl to lie? Like, why is Andy holding on to all this different information about Gary and not going to the authorities? She's not telling Jordan anything about Penelope, about Gary, nothing. Like, what is her end game? So we head over there to Zach and Fatima's and we finally see Michael. He's over there playing with all those toys. Zach got him. Fatima, she's running around like a chicken with her head cut off because she can't find her phone. There's toys everywhere, stuff everywhere. She is like, this is all too much. She's trying to play with Michael all at the same time while looking for it, asking Zach for help while he's sitting over there at the table going over all his bills. So Zach, he jumps up from the table saying that all these people are going to make them broke, talking about all the different therapies that Michael needs, saying that is too much and it costs more than his car note. Now, wait a minute, Zach. I know you lying. I know you not over here complaining about a damn thing. Just last week, you told Fatima she was worried about nothing and that you got it. Remember that? He whines about paying Karen double the child support. And I'm like, look, you still don't even know if the kids belong to you. So you need to worry about what you got going on first. Fatima has told you time and time again, you need to plan for this stuff and it's going to be a lot. But you're so thick-headed. You know, a hard head will make a soft ass. So he continues his little whining session asking Fatima how much her schooling was going to cost him. And she's like, don't worry about that. I got me. I'm good. So he says, oh, well, I got to get my paper up. Like, yeah, Zach, that would help. Go to work. Go do some work, okay? You have to continue the funds rolling in. You have literally been spending money like it's water and doing nothing all day. So Fatima tells him he can start up a cleaning business starting by cleaning their house up because it's a mess. And as she's getting ready to go to work and reminding him she will be late coming home because she has class. This man had the audacity to sit there and fix his mouth to tell Fatima she can't be late because he getting ready to go hang out with the boys. Fatima politely let him know, no, sir, you will be hanging with Michael. In case you forgot, you have kids now. Baby, what we not going to do is be sitting home all day and ripping and running in the streets all night when I get home for me to watch your kids. No, sir, that's not what we're doing. And you just got through complaining about money and you weren't about going hanging with some dudes. Zach, if you don't go sit all the way down. So Fatima, she goes up to go to work and Zach says he has to get his money up, so he calls Gary. Gary answers the phone but then hangs up in his face and Zach gets upset. So we go over there to Karen's salon and she's answering the phone and the person on the other line is looking for Pam trying to buy her Roots to Riches products. So Karen basically told them that they need to call Pam directly and she doesn't sell that product at her salon. So then Pam, she walks up with 2 smoothies to give Karen for both babies, basically letting Karen know that she was ear hustling the whole time she was in there telling Mama Lisa the good news. So Karen, she had to tell her to stop ear hustling and to stop selling her little products in her salon because she's not trying to get shut down. Pam told her that her business was thriving and she took offense to her calling her little products little. So Karen said, well, as a real business owner throwing major shade, and some of us just might question the real business owner part of that, but she tells Pam to take her advice. And that is to get her license, get her affairs in order, and do not get her shut down or sued. So Karen, she wobbles to her office and she sits down and she actually has a bonding moment with her babies when she gets a phone call from the hospital letting her know that Dr. Phillips would like for her to come into the office to talk to her because she found something on the amniocentesis. But the nurse does let Karen know that the babies are okay. So we go over there to the bank where Sabrina is supposed to be getting an interview for the branch manager position. But when India comes in here, she cuts straight to the chase and tells Sabrina that a staff member, which everybody and their mama already knows that it is Paige, not a higher up, but Paige has voiced some concerns about Sabrina's leadership abilities, and adds on to that, considering what has happened to Sabrina in the past with the whole bank robbery situation, and tells Sabrina that she is sure that she understands. Basically trying to say you didn't get the job without saying you didn't get the job. Now, why didn't India tell Sabrina what the concerns were? She just felt like she was going to waltz in there because Sabrina is meek and mild. She never speaks up for herself. So it was like, we're going to tell her anything and we're going to roll with it because we want to give the little white girl the position. So this is how we're going to roll. And Sabrina let her know, no, that's not what we're doing. Sabrina goes in and pleads her case like, look, I'm the first one here, the last one to leave. I work my butt off to show you how reliable I am. India brings up trying to be fair to the staff, and Sabrina, she calls bullshit. Sabrina tells her, look, I'm not trying to be rude, but thanks for giving me my job back, but that's what I was owed. She's not looking for any handouts. She just wants what's fair, what she has worked so hard for, and what she deserves. So India, she says, okay, I will let you know. Sabrina, she was looking slightly liberated but scared all at the same time, but she held her head high and she said thank you to India and she walked out. I really feel like as India sat there and watched Sabrina stand on business, believing in herself and standing up for herself, India admired that about her, and that probably will push the needle to give Sabrina the position. So we go over there to the law firm and Fatima comes in and her and Andy chop it up about Jordan real quick, and she basically tells her that Miss Willis was out front. And Andy was like, well, she's early. So now Miss Marie, being the HBIC that she is standing in the doorway telling Andy, I thought I told you I don't wait on anyone. She then dismisses Fatima like she did the last time and told her she can leave and drop the ma'am. So she comes in and her and Andy, they dap it up about Jordan being innocent and how he dodged the bullet. So when she sits down, she lets Andy know, look, I'm always 3 steps ahead of you. Your professionalism has come into question because the streets are talking. I'm out here hearing that you're a loose woman. So Andy, she's taken aback, wondering what Miss Marie is talking about. So she had to let her know, look, I'm not judging you because I've had my fun too. Like, you don't think I'm this fabulous just for one man, do you? But she told her, look, it's a lesson to be learned. You don't shit where you eat. And this is facts. So, of course, Andy, she doesn't address any of that, what was just said. She deflects and tells Miss Marie she's going to be professional and make sure that she gets every penny that she deserves in her divorce. Miss Marie lets her know, I want every penny I don't deserve as well. I want it all. So then Miss Marie tells Andy that she's officially her counsel, but busts her bubble by telling her she has a co-counsel. So Andy is surprised by that. She's like, co-counsel? Miss Marie tells her she hears that it's a young man that she should consider. So she gets up to leave, and Hayden, he's already standing at the door when she opens it, and he announces who he is again, and she's like, I know who you are. She pretty much gives him her behind the kiss and tells Andy she'll talk to her later. I feel like it would be crazy for Hayden to be the co-counsel when Miss Marie doesn't even look him in his face to even talk to him. So after Miss Marie leaves, Hayden lets it be known that he was eavesdropping at the door because we could clearly see him through the door anyway, and teases her about needing a co-counsel, saying that she wasn't fit for the job and that she might as well give him the job and go back to working on a little cases she was working on with her hood rat friends. She told him to go to hell, and he told her when he makes partner, hell is going to feel like a paradise for her. So we go over there to fuel, and we see Danny sitting with Tony Jr. and Brianna. Their dad is in the restroom, apparently been in there for a little minute. So it's awkward for Danny to sit here and be talking to these kids. She's trying to have a conversation. So little Tony, he's all wrapped up into his phone, not paying her any attention. Brianna just over there giving straight attitude. So they end up texting each other about Danny, laughing and snickering and giggling about her in her face. So she ends up taking their phones so she could try to have a conversation. She low-key was trying to apologize to them for how they saw her the last time and wanted to know, can they start over and possibly be friends? So Tony Jr. was like, our friends usually give us gifts. So they mentioned some retro bucks, something that they use to play a virtual game online, some Brave tickets, and Brianna told Danny she wanted the pearl necklace from around her neck. Danny told her she was going too far. She don't care how cute her hair was. So then we finally see Tony coming from out the restroom. So when he gets to the table, I guess Brianna was like, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. So she starts rubbing around her neck to Danny like, let me get that. Like, I'm going to get what I want being a little spoiled brat. We then see Danny taking the necklace off to give to her. So Rich, he comes over to the table and he greets the kids and dap them up with some little handshake they got memorized, and basically laughs at Danny and tell her, oh, I see you got. So Rich and Tony, they talk about going over to Jordan's house because he texts both of them and they say they were going, and he takes the kids to go show them some new snacks that he got in the building. So then Danny and Tony, they're sitting there talking. Danny is looking disgusted, like she was ready to go. Tony was thanking her for at least trying to get to know the kids, and she said, look, your kids are demon kids and I want my necklace back. Creisha is going to get a mouthful from me about this, and you are going to pay for the therapy session. All I can say is, at least you tried, Danny. At least you tried. So we go over there to Gary's office, and he's in there on the phone. Zach walks in and questions him like, I see you know how to use the phone. You didn't see me calling you like 18 times. Gary claims he was busy. What can I do you for? What you need? Zach says, I need my money back. So Gary tells him he's not in a position to do that Zach's money is in lockup. Zach was like, man, run me my money. So Gary, he then teases Zach about not being that experienced and how the whole investment thing goes, saying that your last time was your first time. Zach basically was like, I don't care what you talking about. Run me my effing money today. So Gary was like, or what? Zach hauled off and punched him. And he said all of that for a little bit of money. So Zach tells Gary, don't effing play with him because he will unalive him. Gary goes in his desk, pulls out a piece, sits it on top of the desk and tells Zach, you don't have the balls, you're weak. Zach basically told him he was using all the strength he had not to pick up that piece and use it on him, and Gary was like, do it. Oh, but that would mean your kids would be left fatherless just like their daddy. So then Zach, he does the dumbest thing, in my opinion. He picks the gun up, takes the bullets out the gun and tells Gary he's keeping the bullets. Why are you even touching the gun, Zach? Just why? Now, anybody with good common sense can figure out that Zach touching this gun and keeping these bullets, this will come back to haunt him one way or another. So while they're doing all of that, in walks Penelope talking about, is everything okay in here? And I'm like, if it wasn't okay, Penelope, what were you going to do? Because, girl, you're not even supposed to be there, but you are hard-headed as well. And again, a hard head will always make a soft ass. So Gary, he plays it off like everything's cool. Zach was just leaving. Zach is like, yeah, I'm leaving, and let Gary know he took the bullet out the chamber as well. So he leaves. So I don't know who put a battery in Penelope's back, because now she's talking noise to Gary. He tells her, look, I don't have time to talk right now. She says, oh, well, you gonna make the time. I said, ooh, child. So we go over there to the law firm, and Andy, she's leaving for the day, and she sees Pam up at the counter. She automatically gets scared because she thinks something is wrong with Karen. So Pam basically tells her she's there to try to hire her as her attorney so she can make her products legit. Andy tells her she's not that kind of attorney and she's booked and busy anyway, but she texts her some information of an attorney named Jeremy that can help her out. So Maurice and Sabrina, they have a quick phone conversation. He basically was checking in to see if she got the position or not, because the quicker she get this position, the quicker he can get back over there and start working back at the bank. She told him everything that happened, and he blamed Paige and told her every dog has its day. They started talking about Grayson and the date he was getting ready to go on, and Sabrina said tell her all about it later. So we go over there to Zach and Fatima's, and Zach comes in and Fatima has cooked. She's trying to get him to taste the food, and she can tell something is wrong with him. So she's like, well, what's wrong? So he tells her that he went to see Gary and had to let her know that he invested some money with Gary when he first got his money. So Zach says with all the stuff they have going on, he went to try to go get some of the money to use, and Gary told him he couldn't get it, and that's when he lost it. So Fatima was like, well, what did you do? Zach lied and said he didn't do anything, which he did hit Gary, which we love to see that. But he told her that Gary was the one that pulled his piece out on him, and also failed to mention that he took the man bullets and kept him. So she had to remind him that he's a father now. He can't be going around doing all of that. So Zach says that Gary is going to get what's coming to him, and Fatima asked him, do you want my cousin to handle that? So Zach was like, who, Madam? Hell no, I got to get my money back first, because Madam will not play with the likes of a Gary. So we get this little meaningless scene between Karen and Trey over at the salon. She's getting ready to lock up, and he walks in with this package and startles her, and she almost maces him to death. Why he's hanging out late night in this area with this one little package that was in the back of the truck is beyond me. So they get to talking about cameras, and the bottom line is, he told Karen he'll help her put the cameras up that she got just sitting around in the box instead of using them. And they walk out together. But the crazy part about the scene is Trey walks out with the same package he claimed he was bringing there. So we go over there with Maurice and Grayson having their date. Grayson brings him flowers, and they start talking, and Maurice basically wants to know why he's still single. He's beautiful, he's this, he's that. So Grayson says he wants to take his time because he's been burnt before, and quickly jumping into a relationship is something that he's not interested in. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. When you barged into Maurice's house and he was talking to a client and said he wasn't looking for a relationship, you got all bent out of shape and walked out. So I'm confused. But then he plays in Maurice's face and says that he may make an exception for the right one. So then now he got Maurice feeling all giddy, feeling like he could be the one. So out of nowhere, Maurice had one of his fans come running up to the table all excited to see him, calling him the throat goat, and Grayson was like, look, homie, you got the wrong table. The guy was so excited, he wanted to take a picture. He was going on and on about the live they had last night when Maurice was using all these pickles and doing different things, and he was trying to describe it with visuals, and Grayson was sitting there looking like this to knock 10 points off of Maurice being the one, because we remember last week he asked Maurice how much longer he planned on doing the fixation page because he has a problem with it, even though he met Maurice on the page. Maurice is trying to get rid of the fan because he knows this is messing up his chances with Grayson. And later on, when we go back over there to Maurice, Grayson and left him high and dry yet again. Now, it's time to leave Grayson alone because he will leave you quicker than a heartbeat. We see Sabrina, Andy, and Danny at Sabrina's place, Jordan, Tony, and Rich over at Jordan's place. So both parties, they're over there drinking. Sabrina, she can't drink, so of course Danny's going to drink for her. So she's talking about Tony and his kids, meeting them officially, and says they are officially little terrorists. Tony seems to think that the meetup between the kids and Danny went well and is happy that she's taking them to a game. These two may need to have a conversation. So Andy and Jordan, they both talk about how they feel about each other, throwing around the love word. And Jordan basically tells Rich and Tony they need to tighten up. So Tony was like, look, Danny knows the deal. She knows that I'm a dad and I have to be careful who I get serious with. And I was a little confused at that. And then Rich was over there talking about Sabrina, even though they are on two different paths. She gets him, which she doesn't get you because she was just throwing baby stuff in your face just at the dinner y'all had. And clearly everybody's not on the same page and conversations need to be had. So the ladies, they're vibing, they're having a good time, they're dancing, and in walks Karen, and automatically she's looking for something to eat. She does not want what Sabrina already has laid out on the counter. She picks up Sabrina's phone and says she's ordering some food. So she goes around the room and asks everybody what they want. She's punching numbers. Sabrina's like, well, how much is that going to be? Karen says, don't worry about it. You work at the bank. Like, what? Baby, Sabrina, you better than me. So Sabrina mentions that she may have gotten fired because she gave India a piece of her mind. Danny told her she's surprised she didn't already give her a piece of her mind, had her interviewing for a job that should have already been hers. So the ladies basically told Sabrina they were proud of her for standing up for herself. So So after chomping down all her food, Karen says she has to leave because she has a doctor's appointment. And they ask her, was everything okay? She said everything was fine. So then all the ladies decide to leave at the same time, and they thank Sabrina for the evening. So we go back over there to Gary's office. He's telling Penelope, look, whatever it is you want to talk about, we can talk about that later. Penelope, still with that battery in her back, tells him, no, we need to talk now. She goes in her purse and pulls out the picture of Kimberly Potter that Andy gave her. So Gary, he looks at the picture. He starts balling it up, clenching his fists, clenching his teeth. And he asks her, what are you doing with this? She's like, oh, I'm going to be the one asking the questions. Like she big and bad, right? So she says, what happened to her? Did you do something to her? He's steady over there fuming. He is hotter than fish grease. He says she went missing and I had nothing to do with it. Wanted to know who put her up to that. Gary told her he is not the man to be messing with and he had nothing to do with Kimberly's disappearance. She's over there talking about, I don't believe you. He said, I don't give a damn what you believe, but you better get the F up out my office before I do something I may not regret. Now, Penelope, girl, that was the perfect time for you to take heed and get your behind up out that man's office. She proceeds to cross her legs like I'm not going no damn where. Gary then jumps up and yells real loud, get the F up out my office. I'm like, Penelope, girl, he is trying to tell you to leave now. This lady says, or what, Gary, you gonna do me like you did Kimberly Potter? So he walks up to her. Now he's super heated at this point. She stands up like she getting ready to boss up to him. He jacks her all up and she's like, let me go. I'm going to the police and all of that. Why she said that, child? He done had her all in the grip and then slung her like a little rag doll. Next thing you know, she on the floor, laid out, whimpering and crying, yelling out in pain, and all you see is her surrounded by blood on the floor. And that's where the episode ends. Woo, child. Penelope, girl, all you had to do was listen to what Andy was trying to tell you about disappearing, and she was going to get somebody to help you do that. But you couldn't wait. You just couldn't wait. It's ridiculous. Gary is complete trash. This man doesn't care who he hurts. Unborn child, it doesn't matter. He gives no Fs. You hear me? And like Zach was trying to foreshadow, Gary will get what's coming to him. Hopefully, he doesn't pay the price for whatever happens to Gary. And I did find it odd that Zach didn't mention to Gary that he knew he was being investigated by the FBI. Next week, we get the mid-season finale. Finally, we can get the results from this DNA test. This episode was written by Maggie Bush. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts were for this episode. As always, you guys, thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.